These chicks underestimating you because of your age? Huh. Get ready for an ass whooping.
What? What? Backstab with no remorse. Taking blasted when I'm licking off. Have the beat, hard hitter when I'm getting off. These bitches with no father figures, they be tricking off. Feel me? They bees off the keys, knees, and that's for sure. If they try to run between these, I'll blow they doors. Put the jinx on them all like the Southmores. Cause these bitches got the gall to holler hardcore. I'm cracking doors. Have to be the Southpaw with no look. Give a fuck about these bitches, and that's the hook. You know how I'm gonna get it, split it off the books. And you ain't got to love me, trust me, simply put.
Didn't look any bit of 36. And I'm just trying to tell you, you didn't look 36. So, unless you told them, I mean, how could they figure out you were 36? I mean, because,
They knew. They had a profile of of
uh,
everything about you, and that was the one thing that stood out to them. Marion Reneau, 36 years old. That was all I pretty much think that they saw. But it's one of those things because now when you think about it, I'm 39 and I'm still a part of the UFC. So it's just one of those things. And I don't feel 39, not in the least.
did they realize what you would become?
I think now. I think now they do, but and I don't think that they'll ever make that mistake again, especially when you look at somebody who is an athlete. When you have a really good athlete who's been an athlete for most of their life, one of those on the elite standards, you don't want to count them out because they've been an athlete. They've developed those muscles, the mature muscle. They have it. You don't want to count them out, and when I go up against somebody, my opponent, that's kind of what I look for. What did she do before she became an MMA? Was she an athlete before, and how long has she been doing it? I look at those things.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, that that's good that you actually you take care of yourself, and I mean, because even watching you on the octagon, you still move like you're in your 20s. I mean, you move well, and it's like age hadn't caught up with you yet. Which that's kind of good because in your last fight, yeah, hey, yeah, well, and it's it's a blessing because in your last fight, honestly, you were just. I mean, everything that you tried to do, it worked. I mean, there was nothing going except for the commentating, but I'm not going to talk about the commentating. Okay, everything else that you tried to do was just it. I mean, it worked.
Thank you. Thank you.
But it's one fight that I want to talk about, and I talked to you. I asked you about this maybe about 7 months ago, and you know, the Ashlee-Evans Smith fight, the fight that you tried to petition, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how on God's green earth, what were these people drinking? I don't know. Were they drinking piss or I don't know, cause they couldn't see what
Well,
was
I
going
had
on.
heard a lot about the commission and that they were schooled the day before on how to judge an MMA fight. So
What?
they weren't familiar with it. And in my honest opinion, I do believe they got us confused in the first round. I mean, when you look at it, and even when a judge looks at it, there's no way she won the first round with a 10-8. And I do believe they meant to give that to me. But again, they weren't very well schooled and knowledgeable about MMA fighting. They had been told the previous day, is what I've been told. So it was one of those things that they weren't willing to change. I do believe that 9 times out of 10, I would have won that fight. And that 10th time just happened to be that one time she won. She just got lucky. But 9 times out of 10, I would have beaten her.
Wait a minute, but didn't the commissioner openly admit that he thought that you won the first round? How they
Mhm.
gonna explain this?
You're telling me. I honestly, it's just one of those things. And especially if I won it at a 10-8, if they just redid the math. So instead of giving her the 10-8 that first round, if they gave me the 10-8 the way they were supposed to, I would have won the fight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I was actually watching your fight, me and some of my friends, and we started screaming at the television set. I mean, that's just how it was, because everybody when we have a fight party, we're all, really mixed martial arts fans, and we watch,
Mhm.
and man, everybody here, they were just like, wow, that's one of the biggest robberies of the year.
I felt it too, and it was one of those things I was like, man, I have to come back with a vengeance. And so that's why when I did fight in Ireland, my last fight, I came back with just the notion to finish it. I probably could have finished it in round 2 a little bit earlier. But it's just one of those things you learn from. And I didn't want to be overly cautious, but I didn't want to get caught with one of those lucky punches. You know what I mean?
Well, if you call that overly cautious, because you went in there and whooped some ass, that's just how it is, okay? And she couldn't do anything, and she's tough. Like, she really got a chin. That girl tough. She couldn't do anything. I mean, you was fine. If you wasn't hitting her with your jab, I mean, you was killing her. Hitting her with elbows. I mean, everything. Then you took her to the ground and just bam, bam, bam. I'm like, what? It was over. I was like, ref, stop the fight, man. Stop the fight.
Yeah.
And they stopped it. So
when I was on top of her, I was like, okay, once I'm on top of somebody, there's no getting me off. I just knew I had total control. And after hitting her over and over with my elbows, I was just like, oh my goodness, what do I have to do to finish this fight? Like, she's not getting out. I had her hands held down. So I was kind of hoping that the ref would stop too, because I knew she just had a kid, and I'm like, dude, I'm beating this girl up, and I hope her baby don't see this one day.
Oh, yeah, they probably gonna see it, because you know what? Everything's
On
on
the
the internet.
internet.
That's right. And they look up mama getting a behind whoop. Yeah, that's what happened. Hey, but so okay, let me ask you this: how does coach? Because you and your coach, y'all pretty close, right?
Well, he's been coaching me for about the past 9 years or so. So yeah.
So I mean, what is coach telling you in the corner? Because you know what, it's kind of hard to hear him, and I'm one of those people. I like to hear what the coach is telling you. I mean, is he funny? I mean, what's going on with coach?
To be honest with you, you asked me that question and I have no idea what they're telling me. At that time, they're talking to me and all I'm thinking about is, okay, let me take my rest, let me breathe. I'm trying to remember certain key things that they're trying to tell me. Like, they're just basically telling me to breathe, calm my heart rate down. I do remember my fiance, he was off to the left of me and he was saying, she's going to get desperate this next round. She's going to try to come over with the overhand right. That's what I remember him saying. And then that's it. And it was, we had talked about it before that, okay, she's coming in with an overhand right, so be cautious of it. And lo and behold, she did. And I was ready for it. So we had talked about a couple of things, but usually I'm just focused on one thing. And that's like, okay, I need to get back in there and finish this.
Wow. And I did a fight prediction on that fight with Dudieva. I did a fight, and I kept saying, Marion Reneau is going to win this fight. And then you got some people who actually disagree with the coach, and I couldn't believe that. I'm like, are you serious? I couldn't believe it. But yeah, you did everything exactly, because I figured that you would stop her. I just didn't. Hey, I done told you about that. That's me. Hey, so who do you want to fight next? Because the sky's the limit for you.
Well, I have my eyes set out on Bethe. She's ranked number 9. I do want to work my way back up. They have, I think they still have me. I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked, but I want Bethe Correia. About a year ago, we were going back and forth on Twitter, and she just kind of laughed. And I'm like, I'll dance with you, bruiser. And I'm like, okay, then let's set it up. All you got to do is sign the contract, and she still wouldn't do it. And recently, we've had the same kind of talk going back and forth, and it's so cute. She put the little a little icon emoji, and it was a picture of an old lady, and I just started laughing. I was like, but this old lady's gonna whoop your ass.
Should have put that photograph where she about crapped herself after she got knocked out. That photograph should have put up there. Oh man, God almighty.
We'll see. We're shooting for that, but anybody who's ranked in the top 10 is, I just want to try to work my way back up. So hopefully we'll get something by February, March.
Okay, by February, March, we can expect to see in there. Cause you know what? People, they kind of kill me with that age thing, but I'm trying to tell you, and I'm telling anybody watching this video, if you face this lady, you're not finna walk through this woman. I'm just gonna tell you, I don't watch I don't watch enough of your fights. Like, and I study fights all the time. I've watched every fight of you and a lot of other people that I can find, and I'm like, nah, this is no slouch. And you've never been knocked out either.
I knock on wood. I don't plan on doing it, but I mean, anything could happen, but no.
Okay.
Nope.
So now let me ask you about tonight's fights, and I don't want to spend a whole portion of that on this because really, I want to ask you more stuff about you, if you don't mind that. Um, who do you think's gonna win the actual main event?
Between Ronda and Nunes?
Yeah.
Well, it just depends on what Ronda we see. Is she the Ronda that came out when she first came out? Is she the Ronda that's going to try to stand up with Nunes? I don't know. So it just all depends how she plays it. She can't come out blazing like Kat Zingano did. She's got to come out smart.
Yeah, it seemed like Ronda was actually waiting on Kat. Like she was patient, and she let Kat, get her shots off, and then she just took Kat to the ground. Like I was like,
Kat ran at her and
what
did a jump knee or flying knee, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like as soon as she did it, I'm like, "Oh my God, this is over." I just knew it was already over. You can't do that. That's playing into her game. I mean, look at what Holly did. Holly played at distance. Holly played her length. Holly has length, and she ended up winning that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought Kat Zingano. I was watching a game of Mortal Kombat. I was like, God, dog. Jumping, flying knee of somersault, sin. I don't know what that was, but yeah. But so you're saying that you think Amanda's going to be patient with Ronda and try to wear her down?
Yep.
Okay. There you have it, folks. You got your prediction. I gotta ask you about another fight. Who do you think's going to win the fight between Holly Holm and Jermaine de Randamie?
Ooh, that's gonna be a good fight between those two. I haven't seen a lot of Jermaine in the past year or so. Fight here and there, but I think that's gonna be almost one of those evenly matched fights that could possibly go the distance. So I'm thinking Jermaine's gonna pull this off.
I don't know. We might be in a minority. Because do you know how much backlash I've been getting on social media for saying that Jermaine
Really?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of backlash saying that Jermaine de Randamie can actually beat Holly Holm, but I've studied the style enough, and I don't know. I don't know if the fight's gonna go to the ground because they're both stand-up specialists.
Well, the thing is, Jermaine has jujitsu. In fact, one year I was supposed to compete with her in a jiu-jitsu tournament, but she didn't show up. But she had signed up for an IBJJF tournament as a blue belt. So I know Jermaine has jiu-jitsu. So if she decides to take it to the ground, I definitely think she'll beat Holly there. I mean, definitely think she'll beat Holly. Holly's pretty much, a white belt when it comes to jiu-jitsu right now. And so it just depends. I mean, we haven't seen any wrestling from Jermaine, so you got to get her down before anything could happen. And Holly has a really good takedown defense.
Okay, so now I got to get you to help educate some people then, because because you're in that octagon. Why did Misha have so much success against Holly, and Ronda didn't?
Ronda was out of shape. Ronda, I believe, did too much media and was caught up in the media and that hype, and the hype that surrounded her. And she had too many obligations going on that affected her training. Because if you look at that fight, that first punch that Holly gave to her, she was pretty much done after that and winded. She was completely winded. I mean, we have never seen a Ronda like that before. However, if you watch the second Misha and Ronda, Ronda doesn't have any head movement. None
Yeah.
whatsoever. It's kind of like she depends on closing the distance and overwhelming her opponent in order to get in. About distance, about keeping her away, about using her jab. Holly knows how to use her power. Holly's been a boxer for many years. She knows how to use her boxing skills. And I don't think that's what Ronda was prepared for it. And Misha's stand-up, it's it's okay. Yeah. So.
Dang. Okay. I mean, you broke it down nicely. I mean, that explains. I wanted you to, because I just like, wow, because you kind of know what you're watching. 100% of the time, you know what you're looking at. Uh, okay, I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions. Okay, because I ain't gonna occupy you too long. Okay, so let me ask you, if you were, let's say, if you have any advice for people, like women or young women that's actually they're trying to get into the mixed martial arts, and they actually want to do what you're doing. What advice would you tell them to do, and what would you tell them not to do?